Okay, so for this activity, you're going to be using the simulation to investigate how adding proteins affects spiders' traits, and you're going to use these tables here to do that. So our first one right here, it says Greg, and the feature we're looking at is silk flexibility. So the first thing we're going to do, this first box, is record observations. It says, what traits and proteins does Greg have for the silk flexibility feature? So in our simulation, we need to look at Greg and see his silk flexibility. So I'm going to click on Greg because that's the spider I'm looking at. All right, and then the feature we're looking at is silk flexibility, so make sure that's selected up here. And now, looking at his trait, it is low. So for his trait, I'm going to go back to my first box. I'm going to say low silk flexibility. Right? And then it asks us what proteins he has. So I'm going to come back to this and look at what proteins are in the cell. So looking around, I only see protein 1. All right, so I'm going to go back to my handout and I'm going to say protein 1 only. All right, so that was my observation. Now, I'm going to make a prediction. Do you think adding protein 1 will change Greg's trait? Why or why not? So just looking here, I'm going to make a prediction about what I think will happen if I add protein 1. So don't do it yet, you're making your prediction. All right, so my prediction might be, I do not think adding protein 1 will change Greg's trait. I think this because he already has protein 1. So that's my prediction, based off of just what I see and what I think. So now we have to test our prediction. So right here, it tells us what to do. Add protein 1. And then we're going to answer if we observed a change, and if yes, write down what its new trait is. So we're going to do what it tells us, add protein 1. To do that, you got to click on protein 1 and drag it to this circle. Then you let go, and then this blue thing tells us that it's adding protein 1. So you can see more and more are coming out. All right, and now it's done. Did anything happen to the trait? It's still low. That little star tells you that the effect is taking place, but the trait is still low, right? And it went back to normal. So I did not observe a change, so I'm just going to put no change. And that is my first observation done. If you did observe a change, though, after you added it, I want you to write down whatever this changed to. All right, so if for some reason his trait changed from low to medium, you would have put yes, it changed to medium. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead and complete the same thing for each of these. All right, so we have a second prediction for silk flexibility in Greg. This time you're going to do protein 2 instead of protein 1. And then you'll look at Ruby and her body color. And then you'll look at Otis and the stripe color. Once you've filled out all of your boxes, I want you to go ahead and answer these 2 questions. So explain why traits sometimes changed after proteins were added. So sometimes there will be changes. Why did they change? And then number 2, were the changes to the traits permanent? All right, and if they weren't, why do you think so? All right, so go ahead and complete your observations and questions.